Hello guys, it's time blown reaction of this Grimdark reading called Christmas Special, Grogar, a heart-swarming horror story, part 4, finale, or final, My Little Pony, Grimdark reading. Okay, it is 20 minutes and 9 seconds long. This is the final story of this Grimdark reading. Let's see how this reaction goes. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Bunmash rose with a groan on unsteady hooves. He reached a hoof back and felt the goose egg already rising beneath
At the moment,
he shook his head to clear his blurred vision and took
we've got 4 ponies that are, or 4 fillies that is alive.
On the bedpost gave the room
well, 3 fillies and 1 colt.
Any further analysis was pushed away by a noisy groaning coming from above. He looked up just in time to see the ceiling give way completely.
Fucking hell, that thunder was loud.
As debris and snow fell with a massive thud into the room. He coughed away the dust and shivered in the new cold that had found its way into the house via the sizable hole in the roof.
Okay.
And I promised that the ceiling wouldn't collapse, he muttered through chattering teeth. The dust cleared completely and revealed a nightmare.
We sure you want cold, Scarlet, as well?
Had not come from
I mean,
debris.
Sparrow,
The ceiling
sorry?
had not given from the snow. The beast that now stared at Bunmash was huge, easily 8 feet tall, with another foot or 2 added from the enormous curved horns that emerged from beneath the hood of the creature's black cloak. The creature shifted its position on jet black hooves that contrasted with the midnight blue of the beast's fur. A tangled white beard hung down from the chin, blowing softly in the wind. It stared at Bunmash with eyes that burned like red-hot
You're gonna
coals
die.
and grinned with a mouthful of dagger-like fangs. Around the beast's neck hung a great golden bell that jingled softly with every move that it made.
Jingle all the way to your death.
Bunmash's mouth became dry as sand. Grogar? The beast's grin grew wider as it tilted its head in acknowledgement. Button was no longer sure if his shaking was from the cold or from fear. I was good this year, wasn't I? Grogar seemed to pause a moment in consideration, then nodded his head again.
Okay, if it's good.
So, how about we trade for a free bath tonight? Again, Grogar seemed to consider, then shook his mighty head with a chuckle. Bunmash's upper lip trembled. That's not fair. Grogar shrugged his huge shoulder and took a heavy step towards the cowering colt. Hey, go face! Both Grogar and Bunmash looked through the room's door.
Bunmash is getting...
Sweetie Belle squared herself.
Bunmash is actually pretty brave to do that in a way.
With the same emerald light that had saved her from impalement. She was done being scared, and was now furious that the monster that had taken her best friend was now threatening the recipient of her first kiss. She reached out with her magic and seized the heaviest thing she could find. Get your big blue tail away from my co-friend!
Ship!
Applejack's bed, bathed.
Sorry for shouting!
Magic rose into the air and swung like a huge, oblong golf club. It struck Grogar full on and knocked the ram right through the wall and into the howling storm.
Okay.
Bunmash stared in wonder. Sweetie Belle raced to his side and looked him over. Seeing his amazed stare, she grinned. Yeah, I had no idea I could lift something that big. You called me your cold friend. Sweetie Belle's pride deflated like a balloon.
Oh, let's kiss already. Just kiss.
I have a mare friend. Bunmash whooped.
Don't shout out, man. Grogar can hear you, you know.
I also might freeze to death. Sweetie Belle shook her head and grabbed his foreleg in hers.
And hugged.
Save it for later, Drake. We've got to get out of here.
Yes, get out of there now before you dare.
Pull him along with a bemused smile on his face. Whatever you say, Scarlet Avenger.
That is so shippable, man. What's up with the sudden music change?
Y'all keep calm and quiet. Applejack lit another lantern and passed it to Diamond Tiara, who passed it along to Apple Bloom.
Okay.
We'll wait here while The roof of the barn suddenly came crashing in as an enormous form came crashing into the room. The three ponies stared as the huge landed on all
sounds like a hurricane
and shook off whatever impact had sent it plummeting into the room. It quickly focused its attention on the ponies.
Applejack, you got to build the barn again.
Sharply.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Saw the horns and screamed again. Grogar! Applejack whispered in terrified wonder. She shook off her amazement and placed herself firmly in front of the fillies. Not one more step, you overgrown goat! Grogar narrowed his burning eyes and drew from his cloak an enormous burlap sack. The top was wrapped in chains that coiled like snakes and were adorned in jingling bells. Whatever was in the sack was still moving. Applejack called on her last reserves of courage and returned the beast's glare. You ain't gonna take these fillies. I'll die first. Grogar grinned and nodded.
Is that the truth?
Though she had just described his exact plan. Applejack? The farmer looked back at her little sister, her last remaining family member, and remembered the promise she'd made to their dying mother. I'll take care of this sugar cube. Applebloom stared at her.
Yeah, you don't have to, Applejack.
Fear.
You don't have to.
Applejack looked back at the beast. You're not a mindless monster. You can make deals, right? Grogar tilted his head curiously. You've already taken 2 fillies, my brother and my granny. That's a pretty good haul for you, I imagine. Grogar crinkled his
She's so
eyes
pleased
and
right
grinned,
now.
his teeth glistening in the lantern's light. If I make a nice round 5 and I go willingly, will you leave these 2 alone?
No, he won't. He won't.
She darted forward. Applejack, no! A quick thinking diamond tiara snatched her tail in her mouth, holding fast. She stared at Applejack with complete shock that this mare would sacrifice herself for her. Grogar's grin faded, and he curled his lip in obvious distaste for the deal. It'll work out for you and Leanne. These 2 will tell every pony what happened here tonight. You'll be feared more than ever. Grogar's grimace faded as he considered the bargain. Applejack! Applebloom screamed.
I don't think you got the
two.
two.
Diamond Tiara's muzzle. Let me go! Applejack ignored her sister as best she could.
No,
Well,
I don't think Grogar's like
have
that.
you got a deal? Grogar's eyes narrowed, and he nodded. Applejack finally looked back at her.
He's lying. Grogar's lying.
Tears falling from
I
her
think.
eyes. I love you, sis. Be good. Applebloom wailed as the chains unwrapped themselves from the bag and darted out. They wrapped themselves around the earth pony and locked securely in place. The sack fell onto its side and opened wide. Within there was a great black void from which only the sounds that could be heard were wailing winds and screaming ponies.
Is the chains
Applejack
actually
stood fast as the
strangling
chains began
the
to drag
pony,
her
or
towards the sack.
making
Tears
it?
flowed down
or
Diamond Tiara's
something?
face as she held as tightly to Applebloom as she possibly could. As she stared at Applejack's approach to her fate, she noticed something amazing. Applejack was getting younger. Every
What?
inch the chains dragged her seemed to take years away from the mare.
What?
Soon, she was a stocky teenager. Another few inches, and she was a filly on the
What?
cusp of marehood. At the threshold of the sack, she was
He's got power to turn a full-grown pony into a filly
even her
or a
cheek.
colt.
Grogar watched the scene
What?
with quite amusement, and then he took a step towards the fillies. Applejack looked back with terrified eyes. No! It was a filly's cry, shockingly similar to Applebloom's own. We had a deal! Grogar simply laughed and took another heavy step. Applejack began to struggle against the enchanted chains, her honed by farm work muscles no longer at her call. She felt her hoof touch the edge of the sack. She looked back at the void and felt her blood freeze. Standing just inside the bag were a colt and 2
I hear
fillies.
music.
The colt was red and unnaturally tall for his age. One of the fillies was slate gray with a mane and tail that seemed to be as perfectly cut as stone.
A stone.
The other was the green of a young apple with hair the color of sunshine. They were all smiling at her and laughing. Tears ran from their eyeless sockets. Applejack felt the chains loosen and turned to flee, and watched as the sack drew itself closed, held tightly closed by the enchanted chains.
Okay.
Her last wail echoed through the barn. Applebloom screamed in agony and fell limp upon the floor of the barn. Dameteer spit her tail and sat heavily to her side.
No, I like
The huge
Applebloom!
ram took another step, chuckling loudly. The bell on his neck danced and sang with every horrible
She's too cute to die!
from his throat. Dameteer lowered herself beside Applebloom, resigned to their fate. "I'm sorry," the yellow filly muttered. "What?" "I'm sorry I was such a crummy friend to you," she sobbed as she met Dameteer's eyes.
Shit.
"I'm sorry that I held a grudge against you for so long."
Kiss.
Dameteer sniffed. "I'm sorry too. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you my problems sooner." The fillies embraced, their tears running into each other's coats. "You're a good pony, Di. I never told you that. And you're a good friend. You saved me, Bloom. That's the best thing any pony's ever done for me." Dameteer felt her tiara fall and clatter to the floor. "You're the best friend any pony could ask for." Grogar leaned towards the cowering fillies. The lanterns all died as one. The barn was suddenly filled with blazing light. Grogar drew back with a surprised roar. He looked at the roof of the barn in confusion. The sun was not supposed to rise for hours yet, but the light was not coming from the outside.
That's what's...
Grogar looked back at his
Is it?
and found that they were on fire. The two fillies were coated in a dancing violet flame that gave an unearthly light. The heat that came from the flame was comforting and strong, but not overwhelming.
Is that...
The light
Is that the magic of friendship
safety
then?
and security.
Or something similar happened?
Applebloom and Dameteer were emitting the life of friendship's flame itself. Grogar roared in fury, determined not to be denied his prize. He reached out a hoof to grab the pair, and was touched by the flame.
Oh, come on!
Grogar cried and shook in anger as his hoof caught the flame.
Oh, nice one,
Fire
Weebo.
spread
Nice
across
one.
his entire being. He struggled against the fire's heat and light, tried to retreat into his comforting cold and darkness, but the flame would not be denied. Friendship decreed that Grogar had had his fill of misery this heartwarming. The fire spread across the whole of Grogar's enormous
The magic
frame.
of friendship
He bellowed in defiance, but it was
kills
far too late.
Grogar?
The light and heat grew and grew, forcing Grogar's essence back to Tamalon for yet another year. The chains seemed to scream as the sack was caught as well, the bells finally ceasing their infernal jingling. For an instant, the inside of the barn was brighter than the brightest daylight. Then just as suddenly as it had appeared, the light was gone. Grogar's final roar faded into silence. The howling winds pettered out.
That's what the...
Applebloom and Dameteer pulled apart and stared at each other. Did we? Is he?
He
Wide
dead?
grins broke out on their faces, and they embraced again, squealing with joy. Hello? They looked up to see Sweetbell and Buttonmash standing in the barn's doorway. Buttonmash was staring at the ground beside the two fillies. Is that what I think it is?
What?
All eyes fell upon the enormous golden bell that now rested on the ground. Engraved in ornate writing across the bell's rim was a single phrase repeated over and over again. For goodness sake. The four little ponies screamed as a small shape jumped in from the hole in the roof. It was a filly. Her fur was gray, and her mane was shining silver. She reached out a hoof and caressed the bell reverently.
Who's that?
Dameteer swallowed. Sylvie?
As a ghost?
Silverspoon looked up sharply. Her mouth was frozen in a rictus grin. Her eye sockets were empty and staring, tears still running down her cheeks. Dameteer reached behind her and carefully handed her best friend her glasses. Silverspoon cocked her head in confusion at first, then seemed to freeze in sudden remembrance. She lifted the cracked frames to her face and adjusted them until they were perfectly centered. For a single instant, the old Silverspoon was back. She smiled at Diamond Tiara with kindness in her eyes. Thank you.
That's what cool.
sorry.
That's true friendship there.
Sylvie? Diamond Tiara started. But the spell was broken. The grinning ghoul that Silverspoon had become bent down, grabbed the heavy bell in her mouth, and vanished out of the hole in the roof and into the night beyond. The silence that followed seemed to stretch on forever. Well, Buttonmash clapped his hooves together and looked around at the three fillies. At the risk of not sounding cool in front of my new mare friend, I could really use my mommy about right now.
Aww.
The blizzard had cleared completely by the time the sun began to rise. The four little ponies emerged from the barn at first light and started the trek back towards Ponyville. For the rest of the night, they had comforted each other and did their best to get some sleep. Now, it was time to find the others and tell them what had happened.
Don't tell. I wouldn't tell that. I wouldn't necessarily tell. Is that a good idea to tell?
What's going to happen to you now? I don't know. The filly shrugged as she walked. Suppose they'll send me off to Manhattan to live with Babs until I get old enough to inherit the farm. Diamond Tiara sniffed indignantly. And have my new best friend leave me for a few years? Nonsense! You can come live with me until the farm is fixed back up.
Wow.
Applebloom gave the rich filly a small grin. And I suppose you'll have no problem in getting your mom and dad to agree with that? Diamond Tiara rolled her eyes. It's not like some pony didn't help me understand that my special talent is getting other ponies to do what I want or anything. Behind them, Sweetie Belle was briefing Buttonmash on what to do around Rarity. Most importantly, do not tell her that we're together. Why not? Button pouted.
Why?
Embarrassed of me already? Sweetie Belle pecked his cheek. Of course not. But if she catches even an inkling of the fact that we're special sun ponies, she'll start fitting me for wedding dresses. The two ran right to the tails of
wow. Yeah, she would do. She would do that. She would do that.
I don't think Rarity's going to be a problem, Sweetie Belle. Applebloom muttered. Sweetie Belle and Buttonmash spooked the other two.
What?
Buttonmash fell face first into the snow in a dead faint. Sweetie Belle started screaming uncontrollably and raced ahead as fast as she could. Diamond Tiara sat back on haunches and started to laugh uncontrollably, tears running down her cheeks as the sound became not that much unlike a high keening well. Applebloom looked back on the night before. We're here so our parents could get rid of us for the night.
What?
Discarded on Horse-Swarming Eve. We're all being punished for it. It ain't about what you believe or how old you are anymore. He's here now, and he will not stop until he has claimed us all.
She is being possessed by a spirit or something, you know.
Huge icicles pierced upwards through the roof of houses. The buildings that were still standing were either frozen solid or packed so tightly with snow that it poured from windows like waterfalls. An enormous snow drift had buried the center of town, the town hall only visible by the uppermost part of it's roof. There was no sign of any pony anywhere. They were all gone.
What?
With a sudden stirring
all the ponies are gone?
Princess Celestia herself landed in the snow. She took in the devastated town with shock and horror. She looked down at Applebloom and touched her shoulder with a hoof. My little pony, what happened here? Where is every pony? Applebloom looked at her with sunken eyes, her once red mane now the same white as the snow. A single tear ran down her cheek. Grogar came to town and punished them. He punished them all. She grinned. You better be good, princess. You better be good. For goodness sake. Without another word, She wrapped her foreleg around Diamond Tiara's shoulders and joined her in screaming laughter. The sound of madness echoed in the emptiness of Ponyville, and above that, just barely audible, was the ringing of a single bell.
All the ponies are dead now! Okay. Hit the bell icon. You sure if I hit the bell icon, is Grogar gonna come and get me now? If I click it, I must. Okay, Sweetwell, you're dead. I think. Well. That was good. I want to get it straight at the end. Did all the rest die? I mean, is every pony dead, like including like Apple Bloom, Buttermash, and Sweet? But are they technically dead now from that bell? And is Celestia dead? If Celestia's dead, who's gonna raise the sun? Is Luna gonna raise the sun? And I kind of called it out when it was about the friendship thing. It's something similar that happened in the Hearth's Eve episode in season 2. Well, that best. Yeah. Well, this was a good story, good ending. Is every pony dead now? At least in Ponyville. Well, you could just give him coal. You could have given the coal if you've been bad, but every pony. I don't know. I believe they're all dead. But I could be completely wrong. That was a good story. Good reading. Celestia wasn't. Cecily's voice was good as well. Silver's bit. Well, Diamond Tiara's voice, excellent. Well, hopefully you like this video. Hopefully you like this video, and I will see you in my next video. Oh yes.